Today, I'm going to be talking about the power of gratitude for us as leaders. And this is going to be a two-part show. So I'm going to just start talking today about what that means and some of my own experiences with that. If for those of you who have been listening to the show for a while, in season 1, I shared a lot of my story. And part of that is that about 5 years into my second position as a pastor, a new senior pastor came on the staff. And after a couple of months, he came to me and said he was going to allow me to choose. I could either resign or be fired. I was not a happy camper. In fact, I was devastated by that kind of choice because to me, both of them meant I'm out of there no matter what. And it wasn't my choice to do that. So I left. I chose to resign, but I was not in a good place after I did that. I was depressed. I was sad. And a friend came to me one day, my best friend at the time, and she handed me a book she had found at the library, and she told me I had to read that book. And the name of the book is Happiness is a Choice. The author is Barry Neal Kaufman. And I looked at the book and I said, happiness is a choice? I have a choice to be happy in the middle of this? You got to be kidding me. And the book is really about what he calls 5 shortcuts to being happy. And it seemed so simple, rather too simple to really be true. But I got to shortcut number 5. And in the beginning of that, he writes the following, and I'm quoting from page 185 of the original hardback version of the book, which is copyrighted in 1991. And he writes, and I quote, "When we are happy, we are truly grateful. The reverse also holds true. We are grateful. When we are grateful, we are truly happy. In fact, oftentimes I call gratitude the sweetest way to embrace happiness. We can cut through all of the misery by turning our attention to being grateful. In spite of all the catastrophes that might occur, we can find in little and big ways bottomless well springs for our thankfulness. Gratitude then becomes the shortest of shortcuts to happiness." That idea that gratitude is the shortest of shortcuts to happiness is something that stuck with me ever since reading that. And I, not in the most consistent way at the time, started practicing looking for things to be grateful for. And when I looked for like big things that happened, oh, this is wonderful, I should be grateful for that, I didn't always find one, much less more than one during the day. But when I started noticing the little things, it might be a bird I saw or a butterfly. It could be somebody smiling at me in a grocery store. It could be all kinds of little things. And that I noticed that there were a lot of those things in every single day. And there came a time along the way where I started keeping a journal, a gratitude journal. And at first I challenged myself to find 3, just 3 things to be grateful for in a day. And like I said, there were times where when I was thinking that they needed to be something major that had happened, it was really difficult. Sometimes couldn't think of even 1, much less 3. But when I remembered to look at those smaller things, the things we might overlook, watching the sunrise or a beautiful sunset, a message I got, a phone call. At that time it was pre-texting days, but a phone call that I might get, any of those kinds of things often lifted me up and I could find 10 or more. And came a time where I could fill a whole page with things I was grateful for. And there's the 13th century poet Rumi from Persia has a quote that I want to share with you, and he has written, quote, "Your depression is connected to your refusal to praise and to be grateful." And at another point, I'll talk about the connection between praise and gratitude. But when we don't praise somebody or give thanks, we're not being grateful. And gratitude, I have learned, is really very, very powerful. Dr. Robert Emmons is the leading scientific expert on gratitude. And he has documented that gratitude scientifically is proven to have the power to heal, energize, and in fact, change our lives. Gratitude is the affirmation of the goodness in our lives and figuring out where that goodness comes from outside of ourselves. It's more than just being a little bit thankful. It's thinking of being grateful and thankful for all of life, for life itself, but for everything about our lives. It's the ability to receive gracefully, as well as to thank somebody else for something. And it sees everything about life as a gift. So gratitude is really, really powerful. People who are grateful are happier, scientifically shown to be happier, more forgiving, more giving, more generous, charitable. They see abundance around in life. And that has the power to change everything about life. And expressing and feeling gratitude is scientifically proven to increase our emotional well-being by, get this, 15 to 25%. That's not a small thing. That's huge in what it can do. It helps us get along better with other people. And mild to moderate depression is lessened by being grateful, and it can even help prevent depression, like Rumi was talking about. And people who are grateful achieve more, and they're more resilient through times of trauma. And there's a connection between gratitude and grace. And grace is not dependent on gratitude, but gratitude requires grace so that we know how to receive. And grace helps us be good receivers. Being graceful and grateful is always a choice. It's never a requirement. It's always, always a choice. And there's no situation where we can't find something about that situation to be grateful for at some point. Now, yes, there can be very bad things that happen to people. This is not denying the traumas and the bad things that happen. But it is saying that even in the midst of that, there's always something to be grateful for. And we can find it and acknowledge that at some point. Acknowledging our dependence on God or spirit or universe helps us with gratitude. And we can be grateful without being a believer in, as a Christian or Jewish or Muslim or any particular faith. But gratitude, for those who are believers, infuses our lives with the blessings in all aspects of life and in all times of our lives. So having faith, being a believer in something greater than ourselves, amplifies gratitude in many ways. But we got to remember, gratitude is not a given, and there is an obstacle to gratitude. And the greatest obstacle to gratitude is the sense that we deserve something, that we have earned a place, that we are entitled, for whatever reason, to something that's good. So gratitude and earning things, which is endemic in our culture, makes it very difficult. As a leader, then, we need to remember to help other people be able to express gratitude and to help them see grace as something that's undeserved, unearnable, however we can define that. And once we help people begin to see what they're grateful for, that's a huge quality within us as a leader, to be able to cut through those things where we deserve it. And being a pastor for many, many years, I've seen people say, well, why doesn't God give me X, Y, or Z? I've been a good person. It's almost like, being naughty or nice, and Santa should therefore bring me gifts if I've been nice and a good kid, a good person. So that I deserve that. God doesn't do things for us because we deserve it. There aren't these things in our lives because we deserve it. Where you live, if you've moved there knowingly, intentionally, great. But being alive is not something we deserve. We never earned the right to be born. We never earn the right to breathe. We never earn the right to be able to see or to hear or to move. All of those things are given to us. They're attitudes of grace that is part of life, and helping other people see that there's so much around us that we can never earn, we can never deserve, we can never be good enough to have. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have value and that we aren't good enough in many, many respects, but that being good enough, which is a cultural thing, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, especially for us as women, that's a constant kind of mantra in the backs of our heads. It gets passed down typically from generation to generation for women. And our enoughness is something that it's what God tells us at the very beginning of life. Being born makes us good enough for being cared about, good enough to value, be worthy of other people caring about us. But that doesn't mean the things that we have, that we aren't supposed to be grateful for them, because we still don't earn them. We still can't deserve them in and of ourselves. And so the obstacle to gratitude as a leader, that's helping people get over that idea that we can earn and deserve all of the good things that God gives us, all of the good things that happen in our part of our lives. We live in a world where, yes, we go out, we earn money, we buy things, and all of that, and that's all part of the culture that we're in. It's not given to us. We have to earn a lot of things in life. We don't earn the right to breathe. We don't earn the right to, everybody has the right once we're born to live. Everybody has the right to be able to have a good life. And so helping people see what they are grateful for. That's such a wonderful, wonderful gift. And so I've usually challenged people in other podcasts and other media at times to every single day go and look for things that you're grateful for. And the challenge is to find at least three things that are unique for the day, so that you're not repeating the same, I woke up this morning. Yes, be grateful for that. But three unique things for the day that you can be grateful for. And it's a good idea to write these things down. And if you find three, I'd go for 10. Go for more. See how many you can find in a day. Challenge yourself with that. Challenge your members, the people you care about, the people you lead. Help them to see things of gratitude as well, and to even keep a journal for that. That will be a wonderful gift you give yourself, and helping others see things to be grateful for is a gift that you give them too. It's a great way to be a leader and leading them into seeing more of life as in gratitude. Because remember, people who are grateful achieve more, they're healthier, they have greater emotional resilience, and they are people we like to be around more. So that's always a good thing, no matter what field of work and leadership you're in. If it's a faith community, if it's in a business, being grateful, having gratitude for the customers who come in. All things are wonderful to be grateful for. So again, the challenge today is, as a leader, look for three things every single day that you're grateful for. Unique things, and write them down. And as you write them down, kind of relive that moment that amplifies the gratitude that's there. And if you find three, keep going. Don't stop. See if you can find 10, or maybe even more than that. And see what happens inside of you as you create this practice of gratitude. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So until next time, God's peace and God's grace be with you all.